Good morning. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can.
I can hear you, Lydia. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I think we are at the stage now, right?
Yes, I think we've started.
I hope everybody can hear now.
Maybe
okay.
if people could let us know on the chat if they can hear.
Can you guys, if you go down, you will see like an emoji. Please show us a thumbs up if you can see or you can hear us. Down there,
Yeah.
Yes,
I think that's
that means you can see me or you can hear me. Yes. Can you all? Okay. Elaine, are you here?
I'll try Elaine separately, shall I?
Oh, you can hear now. If you are not able to use the emoji, then you can at least type in the chat that you can hear us so that we can start all over again. I think they can hear. Okay. Since Elaine, yeah, they can hear.
Irene, go ahead.
Maybe we should start all over again.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think most people did not hear us. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to the East Africa Bootcamp with the theme of Women in Tech Entrepreneurship Series organized by Pan-African Tech Foundation. It's a beautiful morning and we're going to carry out this bootcamp. We're going to have amazing speakers. Please feel free to tell us anything through the chat. If you're not among the panelists, we will be happy to hear you. And if you go down your screen, you will see a place where you can turn on or switch off your video. There's a place where there's a mic if you're a speaker, and there's a place for an emoji. So if you've liked something, you can clap, you can thumbs up. Just show us any excitement that you feel throughout the boot camp. We already started, but we experienced a technical challenge. My sincere apologies, and we're going to restart again. Since Elaine is not here, maybe let me welcome another speaker for a welcome address. Mr. I hope I will pronounce your name well, Tet Kofi, PR and Corporate Communications. You're welcome.
Okay, Lydia, thank you so much. Look, I'm going to be really quick. What I said before was that we live in really interesting times. No, I'm not talking about COVID, though COVID has had an impact on our times. The truth is that Africa is undergoing a demographic boom. And when population increases, it can have one of two effects. It can either impoverish us all, or it can make us all much wealthier. The numbers are impressive. By the year 2050, Africa's population will have increased by 42 million. That means that our population is growing at the rate of 3.5 million per month, 80 per minute, and that is really effectively the population of Dakar once every month. 82% of population growth across the entire world is going to come from Africa by the turn of the century, which means that we Africans are going to be connected to everybody else on the continent, or rather, people outside of Africa will be connected to us because we won't stay on the continent. Now, the other beautiful thing is that 40% of this population is under 15. Whereas in other parts of the world, populations are growing. So right now, we have the opportunity to create fantastic opportunities for all of these people who are coming forward. Without a doubt, tech is the way forward. Digital science, digital technology, which is why I'm so grateful that a person like Elaine Bannerman has grasped the nettle taken the stand and launched the Pan-African Tech Foundation, supported by you all. We have a historic mission. We have a historic path and role to play for the destiny not only of Africa now, because most of us are going to be African going forward, but for the destiny of the world. I really wish you well. And what I want to do is to thank you so much for taking the time to participate in the start of what is going to be a truly fantastic odyssey. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you so much. That was a beautiful welcome address. Now we go to Mr. Baron Armah, Policy and Reputation Manager. You're welcome.
Thank you so much. Well, I just want to say what a fantastic opening address by Tet there. I agree with everything he's just said. We do have an incredible moment in the continent and in the diaspora beyond. Let us remember that. And also, just to pick up the fact that we're talking about the development of women using tech, we're focused on East Africa. That's so exciting. So we're so, Tet and I are so delighted to be led by such an inspirational woman in Elaine Bannerman, and to listen to and to hear the great efforts and exciting technology opportunities that are presented in East Africa and beyond. My own relationship in terms of digital health has been setting up a digital health podcast with a dynamic woman from the Ukraine. Women have such a role to play in Africa and beyond. And I suppose picking up from what Tet is saying, in terms of the development of Africa, we know that women really pull our societies together. They really are our future. Our families and our economies would not be the same. And there's been an historical underrepresentation, under-celebration of women, and in terms of their talent and opportunity. So it's so exciting to be here with you today. So exciting to be having a Technology Africa, East Africa conference focused on women and women's development, women's leading of our future. I want to do all I can do to support that, and hope you have a fantastic occasion today. Thank you very much.
You're muted, Lydia.
Lydia, we can't hear you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for beautiful welcoming address. And I think we are getting an idea, everyone here on the stage, getting an idea what is Pan-African Tech Foundation and what is the theme for today. And we're all very excited. And now I would like to welcome a PATF East Africa Subregional Lead and the founder of TWAA, Irene Kiwia. Welcome on the stage.
Thank you so much, Lydia. What a great morning, such exciting platforms happening. My name is Irene Kiwia, and I am the East African Pan-African Tech Foundation lead. I'm also the founder of TWAA. When Elaine told me about Pan-African Tech Foundation, I was very excited because her mission couldn't be more aligned with what I have been trying to do, which is building tech platforms that are female focused. So TWAA is a networking mentorship platform for women. It's built by women for women. And the timing of launching TWAA couldn't be more right. You know, we needed more platforms that are inclusive, that are safe, that are female focused, that are relevant. You know, one of the research that was done by the GMSA, I think it said that quarter of the reasons why women don't use technology is because it has to be relevant to them. So TWAA is a very relevant platform for women. It's built with tools that allow for them to connect, to mentor each other, to promote each other, to sell their products and services, to communicate in a way that women enjoy communicating. We're all about community. We are very community driven. So TWAA is built with community tools that support community engagement. And I would urge all of you to check it out and use it. It's very exciting that we launched it last year in October. And today we have women from over 25 countries using the platform. We need more women using the platform. And when we talk about technology, especially when it comes to women, I believe that we need to get women to build women platforms, you know, because we understand ourselves more than anybody else does. And we also have our own nuances and our own habits and our own different cultures that are very specific to us. You know, women are from Mars. Is it women are from Venus and men are from Mars. So we need to do that. But even more importantly, there's a huge gap when it comes to funding female founders, whether in tech or beyond technology. So we wanted to create a platform where women can access fund, they can access grants, they can access support and partnership. Sometimes all women entrepreneurs. So I'm very excited to be a part of the Pan-African Tech Foundation as we promote TWAA, and I'm looking to very proactively build female tech founders and build technology for women in the next 25 years as part of the Ada Labs Africa venture building company that I'm also a part of. So this is very exciting, and I hope you're going to enjoy the conversations today as we talk about emerging technology. We need more women understanding blockchain, understanding AI. We need more women to join the coding side of technology, but also the business side of technology, the support services side of technology, and that is what we're here to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Irene, for such a beautiful welcome remarks. Thank you for also reminding us what are the opportunities for women in technology, but also sharing with us some of the challenges that women are facing, but also encourage what should we do to encourage more women to really take a lead when it comes to technology and innovation. Now, as we are going ahead, let me remind you, we are still at the East African Bootcamp with the theme of Women in Tech Entrepreneurship Series, and it is organized by Pan-African Tech Foundation. Ahead of us, we are now going for training. As I said earlier, we are here to learn, we are here to share, we are here to explore more around technology and innovation. And ahead of us, we are going to have an introduction of blockchain and its use cases. And we're going to get this presentation from Hussein Hashish from PATF. Hussein, you're welcome. Please introduce yourself, and we are ready to hear and get a training from you. You're welcome. Is Hussein here?
Lydia, please invite Hussein on stage.
He's not on stage.
Yes, he needs to be invited on stage.
Oh, okay. Let me do that. I've sent you an invitation, Hussein. Please accept it.
Hi.
I've invited you to the stage.
Hi, Lydia. Good morning.
Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. Hi, good morning. Hi, Lydia. Hi, Irene. Good morning, everyone. Well, I know it's a women in technology conference and everything, but I mean, you can give a chance to the guys as well to join, yeah. So anyway, let me kick off the blockchain training. So just a quick. Okay, just give me 1 second. I want to share. There we go. Okay, can everyone see my screen? Yep. Okay, so welcome to the East Africa Bootcamp by the Pan Africa Tech. My name is Hussein Hashish. I'm the founder of the Blockchain Hub Egypt. It's a digital platform dedicated to teaching the
Okay, all right.
Lydia, if you can just please unmute. Yeah.
All right. All right, thanks.
Lydia, if you can hear me, can you please unmute your mic, please? Okay. Okay, so again, so the Blockchain Hub is a platform, online platform dedicated to teaching the basics of blockchain, going through the applications of everything, and I have the pleasure of joining the Pan Africa Tech Foundation as the Egypt representative for blockchain, and I have the pleasure to giving this training today. So blockchain has been in the news lately a lot, and the magic and the possibilities coming out of this technology is groundbreaking. So I have a problem with my slide. Okay, so I'd like to start the training with talking about ledgers and records. So records and ledgers, they are things that we use to record information. We record our ownership of assets. We record the transfer of assets or money from one entity to the other. And we are more or less surrounded by people, institutions, and record keepers who we trust and entrust to keep a record of our assets, keep a record of the transfer of ownership and value between individuals, between institutions. And these assets or valuables, it could be something like a car or a house or whatever, that could be tangible, or it could be intangible, like digital rights, or sometimes money, which is all now mostly in digital format. So when you think about a third party that is involved in maintaining or governing our records, so if you think about the bank, which records your transactions, or someone like Google or Yahoo who maintain and maintain your emails and the transfer of information from one person to the other, hotel reservations, your medical records. I mean, all of these things, they are managed by a centralized entity or a single point or institution that facilitates the transfer of information, the transfer of the records, or the transfer of value from one person or one institution to the other. But okay, so what's wrong with these record keepers, or what's wrong with these centralized entities? Obviously, when it comes to the banks, sometimes the banks, they don't allow anyone to open a bank account. They censor some people from accessing such a solution or such a service. So there's censorship. Next, when it comes to, for instance, your land registry, someone could be corrupt from the inside and would take a bribe and would edit or manipulate any records that would affect a lot of people. And most of these records are centralized because you have just one entity that has maybe the records in an archive in paper format, or in a format of an Excel file, or something that is on one hard drive that is this single point of failure. So if there's a flood, there's a fire, or just any kind of error with the computer that's holding all the records and the system goes offline, basically we lose all the records stored. So moving on to blockchain and decentralized ledgers or decentralized record keepers. Blockchain is not a company. It's not an application. It's not, it's basically, the easiest way to think about it is basically a new way for people to record data and information and transfer of value and transfer of information on the internet. So think of it as a new way for people, instead of relying on this centralized entity format to record information and trust this centralized entity to govern and facilitate interactions and transfer of value online, you have a public ledger or a record or a ledger that is, or I mean, basically a network of people who, or servers or institutions around the globe, of whom all participate together to maintain this record. So you, instead of relying on one entity, you are relying on the network. So the ledger, as I said earlier, this ledger, we can record anything when it comes to information, data, or assets, or transfer of assets and transfer of value. So anything at all you can think of can be recorded by harnessing blockchain technology. So the network of computers and the nodes, as it's sometimes called in computer science, the people who are running the network, who record the information on the network, they record it after they reach agreement or consensus. So there's a set of rules in code that all of the participants running the network and are delegated to record the information. They follow some rules to record the information. So basically, as I said, the blockchain is a database. It's a ledger that records information, and it's stored and distributed amongst maybe hundreds, thousands of computers around the globe, who we can trust and know for sure that if anyone's offline, is there any kind of error somewhere, the rest of the network maintains the set of information that is recorded. And a lot ask, why is it called blockchain? I mean, why is this specific type of the way of recording data is called blockchain? It's quite simple, actually. So think about how data or information that is stored on the internet is packed into blocks. It's as if you have an Excel file open and you have these cells. So each cell can record a certain amount of information, and each following cell is linked to the previous one to create this chain of blocks, including information. So it's a blockchain. So let's see how that works. Okay, so first, let's say I'm sending an email or sending a transaction online. It could be a currency transaction. It could be some kind of messaging solution I'm using. So there's two persons or any kind of people, any number of people who are participating in this solution, and all of these transactions are sent to the network that is running this solution. So let's, for instance, something like Bitcoin. Obviously, all of us have heard of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a currency application enabled by blockchain technology. So if I send one or a fraction of Bitcoin to another person, this transaction is sent to the network and has a timestamp. And then at the very end, something called a hash or a unique fingerprint to this block that contains a unique set of information. And this set of information is basically all the transactions that happened in a certain time frame. And the network creates a unique fingerprint called a hash, unique only to this block. Then comes once this block is filled with information, then the network starts creating the next one, the second block. And what the second block does is exactly record also the fresh batch of transactions happening on the network with their timestamps. And what happens now is when the people running the network, when they create the unique fingerprint for the second block, they include the fingerprint or the hash of the previous one. So this creates this kind of link and dependence between each new block and the previous one. So each new block is formed has the unique fingerprint of the previous one, which was then created by having these unique set of transactions or data in each block. So this is why it's so special, and this is why recording information and data using blockchain technology is extremely unique than what we used to before blockchain. So this is why blockchain is called immutable. And when we say immutable, means data recorded on the blockchain is, cannot be edited, cannot be deleted, cannot be changed. And why is that? Because if an attacker, for instance, let's go back for a second, and if an attacker, for instance, attempts to change anything in a transaction in a previous block, what happens is the unique fingerprint of that block changes, because the fingerprint is created based on the information included in that block. So if an attacker attempts to change anything, automatically all the fingerprints, all the hashes of the following blocks change, and this is how the network automatically detects an attack and prevents an attack, or prevents anyone from changing information on this ledger, on this decentralized ledger. So there are main attributes and advantages of using blockchain to record information and transfer of value. So like we said, it's immutable. Second, it's auditable. When we say auditable, that means that the record is public for anyone to check, for anyone to review. And third, decentralized. It's obviously the information is scattered all over the world, or scattered all over these distributed nodes and computers that have no single point of failure. So if anyone goes offline or any one of those computers is attacked, the rest of the network continues on and moves on, and the records and the data is safe. Finally, there is no one in the middle. There is no third party. There is no centralized institution managing this connection and managing this transfer of information from the users to the network. And all of this is just governed by the distributed and decentralized network of computers. So how can I trust a system that is distributed and decentralized? We trust that the bank is secure, and they spend millions and billions of dollars on cybersecurity and everything. But we always hear about, there's a hack with Facebook, there's a hack with a bank, and their records were lost, or the system's offline. So how can we trust, and how secure is this new way of recording information through blockchain? So decentralized blockchains have two unique things that make them tick. So and ensures their security and the integrity of the information recorded on this decentralized ledger. So first of all, there's something called a consensus algorithm, and this is basically an agreement, a set of rules that govern how the participants in the network behave and act, and reach an agreement on the integrity of the information recorded on the ledger. And as a way to incentivize participants or people to join the network and maintain an updated copy of this ledger, there is an incentive in the form of a token or a digital thing that rewards the participation of the network or the participants to participate in governing and maintaining this record. So I briefly mentioned Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is actually the first application of blockchain technology, and it is a currency application. And when I say currency application, and going back to the security and the two main points that maintain the integrity and the security of the Bitcoin blockchain, or the ledger that records the transaction of this digital currency, is it has a unique set of rules in code by the creator or the groups of people who created this thing. And second, there's the incentive mechanism that incentivizes people and the participants, the nodes or the miners, if you've heard of them, that maintain the network, the Bitcoin network, in the form of the reward token, which is also called Bitcoin. So moving on to the use cases of blockchain technology, and immediately I think of how simple solution to file or data storage or data management can be. All the problems with file and data storage can be mitigated by applying blockchain, because we mentioned at the beginning of the session that centralized record keepers have, a lot of flaws. We talked about the destruction of the records, if it's a paper-based archive or if it's even some kind of record that is on a file on one single computer, or maybe 2 or 3 computers, that they might be prone to hacks, they might be prone to any kind of malfunctioning. The employees working at this, let's say the land registry or the bank or any kind of centralized institution, they are prone to getting, they get bribed, or they can manipulate the records one way or another. And if it's a paper-based archive, then there's a whole lot of variables that can affect the integrity of the paper. Paper can be degraded over time, could be lost, could be, I don't know, if there's a natural disaster, all of this can just destroy the records. So with blockchain, let's say we're at the land registry again, and there's I bought a new house, and I have the deed of the house in my hand, and the employee at the land registry, they have this new contract in plain text format. And by using blockchain, there's a simple solution where something called a hashing algorithm, or converting plain text into a unique code. And we mentioned the hash previously when we were talking about how data is recorded in blocks on the blockchain. So the hash is a unique code that is automatically generated by this computer code, basically, that converts simple text into a unique code, only unique as it's basically like creating a fingerprint unique to this single contract. And then this code is recorded in a block, which becomes part of the ledger that is, each block, following block, is depending on the previous block's hashes and fingerprints, creating this dependency. And this ledger is recorded on this distributed network of computers, so I do not depend on just this single computer at the land registry to record and maintain my records. So now let's say that someone else is claiming that they have, or they're claiming ownership of my piece of land that I just bought, and they file a claim at the registry, and they submit the contract. So what a simple solution is, basically, when the registry cross-references this document with what should have been previously recorded as the unique fingerprint in the database or in the distributed ledger. So basically, the file is submitted, and there's an instant preview, according to the blockchain solution, of this document, and it's cross-referenced against the hash that was previously recorded, this unique fingerprint to this PDF file or this contract. And if it matches the hash that was previously recorded, it will give automatically a valid result, or either if they're not matching, it will instantly give an invalid result. It's that simple. So again, you have this advantage of having this record keeper or record keeping mechanism that is not prone to hacks, not prone to editing, not prone to deletion. you save a lot of money when it comes to claiming, when it comes to anyone claiming that they have an authentic document, or claiming that they have the ownership of said asset or anything. So there is this permanent storage of data because no one controls the data recorded, and it is recorded on this distributed network of computers. And like we've seen, and we're going to see in just a couple of minutes, I have a very fun demonstration to show like a very cool use case to the blockchain application I just mentioned earlier. There's always a quick validation of information because you always cross-reference the plain text with the unique hash that was previously recorded on the blockchain. And exactly the same method and use case of data storage, because data storage and management is now, it's just embedded in all of these different industries. So if you're talking about shipping and supply chain with this immense amount of paperwork involved and third parties involved, think about all the cost saving when it comes to having a secured record of history, secured record of all the data and all the records of paperwork that was going from point A to point B throughout the supply chain. And if we're talking about intellectual property, and immediately we think about all the musicians or music producers who always have these fights on who was in charge, or who was the first to record this piece of music or this beat. And if you have also a record that just is immutable and can speed the process of just fixing claiming who's in charge of what. I'm sorry? I think I'm hearing someone. If you can just mute, please. Hello?
Mute yourself.
Okay. Anyway, so third, there's with your healthcare records, obviously having a single point of failure with each and every clinic, instead of depending on the clinic, depending on the hospital to maintain your records. If you have an application that records all your medical records, and you have this transportability and of moving your records from one place to the other, and having to trust a decentralized record keeper with your health records is quite revolutionary. And finally, when you think about academic certificates and records, let's say you're an employer and you want to make sure that your applicant is truthful with the application he or she is just submitting and the academic records. So instead of calling up, let's say, this university and verifying the authenticity of the records, you can just hop onto this blockchain solution where it can automatically and swiftly verify the authenticity of the data records. And I'm going to show you an awesome demo in just a second. So finally, blockchain alone is revolutionary, but when we combine it with Internet of Things, and basically Internet of Things is the connectivity of things and objects to the internet, and how these objects have maybe these sensors and compile these immense amount of data. I'm thinking about wearables, I'm thinking about internet connected cars, traffic lights. I mean, all of the things and objects surrounding us are connected to the internet, and they compile these immense amounts of data. And when we combine it with AI, and basic AI is just we're coding these mini computer brains that are able to make sense of these and find patterns in these immense amounts of data, which humans are. I mean, any human brain cannot fathom. It cannot possibly be able to do what these mini brains can do. And finally, you have blockchain, which is basically all of these records and data that is figured out by the these mini brains, you have this decentralized ledger and ecosystem that enables the interaction between things and one another, objects, and these interactions between human beings and things autonomously without the intervention of a middleman. So it's something that was never possible before blockchain. So as a demo, and a thank you for everyone for attending the Pan Africa Tech East Africa Bootcamp and the blockchain training. There is a blockchain anchored certificate of attendance, which is going to be sent to everyone right after the conference. And the unique thing is that this certificate is obviously in a PDF format and is anchored to the blockchain. So it's forever a piece of history that you can claim and attest that you have attended this conference. And when you get the file on email, please download the file. Do not save the file, as because any slight modification or change, not just change within the file, but actually the integrity of the file is kept when you just download it off your email. So the file does not change. And when we remember the hash or the unique fingerprint, so basically what I've done, or what the solution has done, is just basically record a unique fingerprint of each of your certificates onto the blockchain. So let me just stop sharing my screen now and share another screen where I can demonstrate. Share, there we go. So window, yep, here we go. So can everyone confirm can anyone see my screen? Just an okay. I think we're okay. So basically, this is the verification tab on my website, and there's a Dropbox where you can just click here, and when you get the certificate, you can just drag and drop, or just, so this is a certificate that Satoshi Nakamoto claims that they have attended one of my courses, but it's a false claim, and obviously there's an error. But if we go back and check the blockchain anchored certificate, it will give us a valid claim. So this is how easy and how fast verifying any claim. So you don't basically need to trust anyone, and you can quickly and swiftly verify any kind of attestation online. And there's actually a cool thing with the certificate. Any kind of information you can have it attached a QR code where you can just scan. If it's in a printout form, scan the QR code, it takes you automatically to the verification tab. This is all the time I have, I guess. I hope everyone enjoyed this brief intro to blockchain, and happy to for anyone who has any questions, concerns, I'm happy to answer them, and also be available all day in the networking breaks.
Thank you so much. I see there's a question here from the chat. I think the person says, a lot of people here in Uganda have lost money due to blockchain sites that pulled down their sites overnight. How can we be able to detect such untrustworthy sites? Maybe you can answer that.
Okay, so there are well-known blockchains. When I say blockchains, I'm talking about global networks, decentralized networks that do not depend on a single person or single entity that maintains and records the data of users. So when people say that they have used a blockchain website, or someone who claims that they have a decentralized blockchain and the data and records are not governed or maintained by just them, I recommend everyone to do the research. And I mean, Google is obviously a great solution to you just look up the solution online, see exactly what are the online reviews. If you don't understand the technicalities, I recommend people to read what others have to say about the protocol or about the website. This is something I usually do with before investing, before participating in any network or any solution. I do my research and read. If I don't understand the ins and outs and all the things that make it tick, I read a lot of reviews. If I have people who are well informed, I reach out to them for their opinion. And just putting all this together, you kind of have a more informed. I can make up a more informed decision on whether you can trust this system with your data and your records. I hope I answered the question, more or less.
Yeah, I think so. Thank you so much, Hussein. This was a wonderful presentation. I can see a lot of comments, great comments in the chat saying this is an awesome presentation. People have learned a lot about blockchain. Some had some doubts, and I'm sure their doubts have been cleared. So I think if there are more questions, when we take a break, we will go to the tables and we'll be able to interact and discuss more. But now, before we go to a break, let me invite another person from East Africa. This is Jeff Mkungusi. He's going to give us a little bit of a discussion around blockchains, and he's going to do that within 15 minutes, then we'll go for a break. Jeff, I'm going to invite you on the stage now. Just a minute. Yes. You can accept my invitation now. All right. Karibu sana.
Thank you. Okay. Okay.
Hi, Jeff. Good morning.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, before I had an issue with hearing on my end. I hope you're well. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, in regards to having a discussion on blockchain, the thing I had in mind was, discussing the adaptability and, how people are responding to blockchain technology in East Africa and Africa at large, and also discussing how people are responding to blockchain technology in line to regulations and legislation. So I don't know what you had in mind. Maybe you can.
It's definitely it's a very broad subject, and it touches up on. When I think about blockchain, I'd say I can relate to what Tet said in the very beginning of the conference. When it comes to accessibility, it's all about accessibility to this new economies that are going to be enabled just by applying this technology. And I'm really interested on your vision and your work in Ala Labs and the Blockchain Center. I'm really interested to see your views on besides the regulation and how just governments and global institutions are figuring out how to deal with this revolutionary technology. Where do you see the most? Where do you see the most the most opportunities and the use cases or the problems that would be solved swiftly by just thinking about how we can go from the analog world or the old internet way to the blockchain way? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'll just start off. I'm the director of the Africa Blockchain Center, based in Kenya, and of course we have branches in 5 other countries. In working with various students from all over the world in regards to teaching them about blockchain technology, and also doing in-depth research in breaking down blockchain components and just understanding them and seeing how we can even manipulate various blockchain protocols to work in various segments of the market. Something I see, which is interesting, is people have started, accepting the technology as it is, and they've already started developing solutions. And the most promising field, because we have 3 main components in blockchain technology, which is crypto mining, crypto trading and blockchain programming or blockchain development. I'm more of the programming bits. What I understand is people are moving from the normal architecture, which is the application API and database, to creating decentralized applications, which of course now that utilizes all the advantages of blockchain technology, distribution, security, immutability, and also transparency. And we've been talking with various clients from all over the world, recently from Russia. And you see that most people are moving to that tech because they want to eliminate middlemen, and they also want to create robust and dynamic solutions. And we see a lot of uptake from the health sector, digitizing health records, and also in the lab records in the blockchain network, so that we can validate that even when specific people already use that particular piece of land, they can validate that it belongs to a specific type of person. And the other thing which is used a lot, and we have developed some solution, is the audit trail bit, where you can actually audit the origin of a specific substance, whether it's a good or it's a service. You can see from the point of origin to the point of destination, and you can actually tell whether it's something that is authentic or not. So the technology is being utilized. Just to mention, a while back I was in the AIBC summit event. I got opportunity to talk to a lot of people who are building centralized exchanges and building solutions on blockchain. And it's quite interesting to see how they feel and the vibe that people are actually accepting this technology, and they're utilizing it in their everyday solution.
That's amazing, because like you said, it's blockchain was built, and the first application built was based on community and community building. Yes. And participation and incentivizing the community to participate and to build through open source code, through open decentralized access, and having this, like you said, transparent ledger, or this auditable record of transactions or transfer of information, gives this sense of trust in people to participate in these solutions. And I think I've just lost Jeff for a second.
Maybe it's in his network. Hello? Maybe.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the connection was lost. Yeah.
Anyways, maybe we can finalize. Do you have anything to add?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'll be Jeff and I will be available all day in the networking tables, so feel free to reach out, and we're going to have amazing conversation during the break. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much, Hussein. Thank you so much, Jeff, and everyone who's on the stage now. This is East Africa Bootcamp, organized by Pan-African Tech Foundation, and we've had an amazing morning. We've had a welcome remarks from amazing people, team of PATS. We've also had a training on introduction of blockchain and its users. So I'm sure by now, when you hear the word blockchain, there's something that comes into your mind. And in case you feel you need more information, we are going for a break. And during the break, we have tables. So once I end the session, it will take us to the stage. The backstage, you have different tables. So there are tables for blockchain. If you want more information, blockchain Egypt, I think, you can click on the table. There's a TWAA table, there's a Panda table, and many other tables. So use this time to network. You can go from one table to another to just speak to people, meet different people, and just get ready for the next session. We're going to have a break for 10 minutes, and then we shall be back here on the stage for more training, more networking, and more learning. Thank you so much. See you soon.
Thank you. Thank you.